privilege that I have had my entire life. To be able to do what I always wanted to do what I was born to do, and to do it well and to succeed at it. No greater blessing could be bestowed. And you all are instrumental, fundamental, crucial in making all of this happen for me. And I never be able to pay you back for it. I don't care what I do. I'll never be able to thank you sufficiently for everything that you've meant. I mean, for 32 years here. And there's some people who have been listening the entire time. 32 years. It's over a generation. And there's some lifers here. It's just phenomenal. I want to go back to this poll that the president cited in his tweet today. 79% of Trump voters believe the election was stolen. Trump says they are 100% correct. He says we're fighting hard. So if you listen to the president, you listen to Giuliani, you listen to Jenna Ellis, they're still proceeding on the basis that the election was stolen and fraudulent, and they're trying to overturn it. And it's obvious now that their route to do this is a Supreme Court. That's what they're doing. That's how they're trying to do this. They're trying to find a direct way to the Supreme Court. And one of the ways of doing that is having all these requests for hearings denied, which then opens up the avenue for appeal. The ultimate appeal is to the Supreme Court. It's clear that's the strategy that they're trying to mainline and speed it up, because they think, well, they want to fast track that because the Supreme Court's where the ultimate decision is going to be made anyway, so let's just go there. And that is apparently the theory or the strategery that is being employed here. But I want to share with you some highlights from this poll. This poll is conducted by Politico. It's the 2020 Voter Priority Survey. And the results show that a bunch of Trump voters believe the election results are not valid, and that illegal voting and fraud took place during the election. I don't think there's any question about this. This is what's so damn frustrating. There isn't any question about it. Go back here to this Rudy soundbite. 450,000 absentee ballots in Pennsylvania 4 years ago. 2.6 million absentee ballots in this election. And I don't think that covers mail-in ballots. It may. I'm not exactly sure. But it's like I said yesterday, folks, if we're going to salvage the integrity of our electoral system, we've got to do some drastic things. We have got to go back to the concept of there is an election day. We vote on election, plus you have absentees. We've always had absentees. There's nothing abnormal about absentees. You have to show an ID to get an absentee ballot. You don't for a mail-in ballot. We need to scrub this mail-in stuff, and we need to scrub the early voting and all this other stuff, and we need to have an election day where people go vote, and they watch television that night, and we find out who won. We've done this for decades in this country. The idea now that we can't find out who won on election day, on election night, is frankly absurd. It's an excuse, and it is a recipe for fraud. And I knew that it was going to happen when I kept hearing the Democrats say, there's no way we're going to know who won on election night. And by golly, we didn't, did we? Not officially. Why? Why did it take so long to count? Why did they stop counting the votes in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin? Because we know why. They stopped counting the votes in 2016 as well. About midnight, there was an hour and a half that went by where they were panicking on the Hillary side, trying to find votes. They couldn't find them. Trump was declared the winner because they had not greased the cheating skids in 2016. They thought they were going to win in a landslide. They were caught totally unprepared. That wasn't going to happen to them this time. They were totally prepared this time. But the idea that this country cannot have an election and count the votes and announce the winner on the same day is frankly absurd. And these people telling us, remember what they said? Democrats were telling other Democrats, don't panic on election night. It may look like Trump has won in a landslide, but don't panic because we'll not have counted the mail-in ballots yet. We won't count the mail-in ballots until maybe 6 days later. Really? Why? So all of this is not so much about doing what they're doing to get Trump the White House or keep him there, although that would be great. But the purpose is the electoral integrity of elections in this country. We have to maintain this. If we don't, if this standard is allowed to go unchallenged, then there isn't an election down the road that anybody's going to trust. And they may be justified in not trusting it. Here's some of their polling data here. Nearly 2/3 of Trump voters do not accept the result. This level of distrust is unprecedented. Joe Biden's been declared winner. Do you accept the result? 97% of Biden voters accept, 38% of Trump voters do. 83% of Trump voters believe the media is the enemy of the people. 81% of Republican voters have less respect for Democrats than they did 4 years ago. The survey was 1,500 voters online, November 10 through November 19. Let's get started on the phones. We have Logan, 16 years old. He is in Florida, visiting from California. And it's great to have you, Logan. You're up first today. Welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, you bet. It's great to have you here.
My grandma and I, we've called so many times, and we're here in Florida. I'm here with her, and she's the one who turned me on to your show. We used to watch, or we used to listen to it in her big red truck, driving around in California. And we're just so excited that we get to talk to you today.
Well, I'm glad you made it through. Your grandmother drives a big red truck?
Yes, she does.
That's cool. Very, very cool. Well, yeah. I'm glad. Where in California do you live?
I live in Bakersfield, California.
Oh yeah, Bakersfield. I've been there. Bakersfield Business Conference. Got kicked out of it one year. Have you? I did. They gave me the hook. Have you? Do you like Florida?
Oh yeah, I love Florida. It's beautiful here. Yeah.
Thinking of moving here, Logan?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate it. It's great to have you with us out there.
I just wanted to thank you. Thank you for just being you and inspiring us.
Well, I appreciate that very, very much. That's very, very nice of you to say.
Yeah.
I love standing up for people. I love standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves or who don't have a voice. I'm not talking about cowards, people that just can't go beyond their little limited group. I love standing up for people. I love letting people know that they're not alone in things. So I appreciate that very much. Here's Debbie, Waukesha, Wisconsin. You're next. Great to have you. Hi.
Thank you, Rush, and God bless you.
God bless you. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much. I know you've moved on from this subject, but I just wanted to make a quick comment on General
Wait a minute. We never move on from anything. If you want to talk about Mad Dog Matt, I've not moved on from it. I just set the table. If you got a comment on Mad Dog Mattis, by all means,
wonderful.
Mad Dog it.
My thought is that, people like Mattis, they don't realize that believing in American exceptionalism, putting America first, have put us right where we are now on the cusp of distributing vaccines for COVID.
That's not how they look at the world. You're absolutely right. That's not how they look at the world.
I know, but it's a shame. But
it's more than a shame. It's a clear and present danger, if you ask me. I mean, people like Mattis believe in cronyism. Cronyism is the way of the world. Cronyism is how you advance. Cronyism is how you pad your income, how you have an income. Cronyism is how you have membership in what we call the deep state, the establishment, or what have you. And the whole concept of American exceptionalism to them is that's for hayseed hicks. That's so old-fashioned. There's a global world out there now that's interconnected and interdependent, and the idea that the United States is some standalone place is simply absurd. It's how they look at it.
And it's a shame. It is. I mean, we are a nation blessed by God. It's beautiful, and
we
people
really
like you
are.
add so much to it.
We really are a nation blessed by God. I firmly believe that. I believe that after having studied the elements of American history, the true story of the first Thanksgiving, so many absolutely unique, wonderful things had to happen. In fact, there's a book. Catherine Drinker Stowe, I forget the name of the woman that wrote it, that's close, called Miracle in Philadelphia. It's about the writing of the Constitution, how it came together. It is a miracle. No other time in human history has anything like the United States ever been attempted. The United States Constitution never been attempted anywhere but here. And it works, and it worked, and it continues to work despite efforts to undermine it that are coming from within. And Thanksgiving is, you know what Thanksgiving is? I wonder how many people really know what the official holiday of Thanksgiving signifies. It has nothing to do with the Indians and eating and thanking them for saving us at Plymouth Rock and the Pilgrims. Well, it does, but that's not the reason for George Washington's first Thanksgiving proclamation. The creation of the actual Thanksgiving holiday from George Washington was largely about thanking God for the newly ratified Constitution. Everybody who participated in the Constitutional Convention realized how unique it was, how special it was, how privileged they were to be part of it. Lives, fortunes, sacred honor. People lost everything to create this nation. 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, many of them lost everything, including sons who were taken prisoner and tortured. Catherine Drinker Bowen, Miracle in Philadelphia. Their sons were taken prisoner and tortured. They were told their sons would be released if they would renounce the Declaration of Independence. They didn't renounce. Anyway, I got to take another brief time out. Time is rolling. I'll tell you, decided here that the top of the next hour we'll get started on the real story of Thanksgiving in the United States. Back after this.
He didn't start it, but he'll be happy to finish it. Rush on the EIB Network.